The press. Thank you, Nigerians. Today, our spokesman will be addressing the media on very important issues that borders on how Nigeria will work for all, how the interests of Nigeria will be protected. Because for the future of Nigeria to work, things must be done accurately, things must be done properly, and things must be done transparently. Nigeria of tomorrow belongs to our children, and they also belongs to us. And for that reason, that's why we are gathered here. We want to thank the fourth estate of the realm for a wonderful work they've been doing in trying to shine light on the shortcomings and all the dealings of people who have decided to, break down our democracy. Our democracy has been so successful unbroken since 1999, and the current activities of those who have been given power in trust are now threatening the transparent process that will lead to a better and credible election. Please, our spokesman, Barrister Ikeanga, will speak more on this, share more light on this.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Gentlemen, we thank you for answering us yet again as partners in protecting our democracy and the sanctity of the ballot box. This is a solemn duty we must all perform until we get our electoral system cleaned up so our election can be free, fair, credible, acceptable, and inclusive. Before we go into the business of the day, we will respectfully announce the admission of a new member into the CUPP family. We have formally admitted the National Rescue Mission, NRM, one of the 18 registered parties, into our fold. The National Chairman, Ambassador Isaac Chigozie, is here and will address his feelings to you at the appropriate time. And let me thank the Secretary of the Coalition, High Chief Peter Ame, for this great field and content and mobilization, Kenneth Udeze. Thank you all. Gentlemen, we called you again to the global headquarters of the opposition coalition to update Nigerians on the issues of the voter register, intercepted credible intelligence on threat to 2023 general election, and the need for vigilance by Nigerians to monitor the process since the last time we summoned you and briefed you about the Omuma Magic compromise of the National Voter Register. A lot has happened. We must categorically state that after our exposition of the Omuma Magic compromise of the voter register and plot to cancel the use of the beavers for the election, INEC has since announced the cleaning of over 2.7 million unqualified registrants from the register. Furthermore, INEC has published the voter register in all the local government areas and the over 8,800 wards in the country, calling for Nigerians to raise objection, observation, and complaint. Beyond that, the Commission has also uploaded the register on its website, where the entire register is now available to all Nigerians to access and assess. From the publication of the voters register, we are vindicated, and it is now confirmed that, as we allege, the Omuma Magic compromise of National Voter Register even happened in more than 18 states we were tipped off about. We condemn in very strong terms the very large silence of some of the investigative agencies in being unable up to this moment in finding those who perpetrated the Omuma Magic and holding them to account, and the attempt by some of them to distract Nigerians by arresting and charging innocent staff of the Electoral Commission who we had. Some of them have now been discharged by the court. If Nigerians are to take the security agencies seriously, the Inspector General of Police must not allow factual allegations of crime against the electoral process to go without action. Compromising the voter register is a crime as provided in the Electoral Act, with a punishment of 1 year imprisonment, so the security agencies must not keep quiet. They must go after these men and prosecute them. We call on the DSS and the Inspector General of Police to put into effect the commitment we reached with them at our meeting with them by ensuring the prosecution of the politicians involved in the Omuma Magic, despite their political leanings and how highly placed they may seem. INEC has since conducted internal inquests and has identified all staffs involved with their external collaborators to compromise the voter register. This is commendable. In a few weeks, we expect to see prosecution commence. There must be consequences for such crime. It is based on the above, removing of the 2.7 million unqualified registrants, conducting an entire inquiry into the Omuma Magic compromise of our national voter register to identify the staff involved and publishing the voter register on its website, a move that gave Nigerians the ultimate power to be involved in the quest for transparency and cleaning up of the register by allowing them to view and make input that the Nigerian opposition family unanimously passed a confidence vote on the national chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakub, and the National Commission for this feat. They have shown so far courage, wisdom, commitment, faith, and capacity to ensure that the 2023 general election is transparent, credible, free, fair, and acceptable. The INEC chairman has also, by the publication, proved beyond reasonable doubt that INEC at the highest level is not complicit in the compromise of the register and that he has nothing to hide. The fact that INEC has opened the largest database of citizens in the country for scrutiny by Nigerians who are the actual owners of the data is most commendable. No one can do it better than the citizens themselves. By providing access to the data, INEC is willing to work with Nigerians, and we all should work with them rather than picking too much faults. Therefore, we call on Nigerians to go to INEC website. Display the INEC website.
Don't carry two.
Yes, of course. That was the. We call on Nigerians to go to the INEC website, check for their names, and make observations and concerning any other names in the register that is not supposed to be there. And there are faces that look underage, persons known to be dead, or indeed any other type of observation. Kindly make the complaint and observation to INEC. We hereby call on all chairmen of opposition political parties and the few honest members of the ruling party to encourage citizen participation in cleaning up the register. We also call on religious leaders in churches, mosques, shrines, temples, and wherever to urge their adherents to check the register. We also call on all traditional rulers and leaders of social cultural groups, civil society organizations, the media, and all citizens to participate in this process to help secure our election. For those who may not know, the official channel to make the complaint to INEC, you may forward such to us also through our Twitter handle and also my own handle, Ikeanga of Facebook, Ikeanga Ugochinyere, so that it will be done as part of our comprehensive submission back to INEC. Already, we have observed underage voters as well as duplicated photos and names. At the Secretariat, we have noted massive underage registration, duplicated photos, and names, particularly in states like Kano, Borno, Katsina, Jigawa, Kaduna State. These observations are already being complained to the Electoral Commission, and Nigerians should be assured that every valid complaint will be considered and action taken by the Commission, as they have assured us that all objections will be addressed, which is why they publish the register online and at ward and LUGA level, as many of you can see. With this said, we shall further inform Nigerians that there are still life threats to the 2023 election. Despite President Muhammad Buhari's verbal commitment that there was no plan to sack the INEC chairman, that dastardly plot is still, unfortunately, alive and kicking, even harder now within his party. There is still a plot to sack the INEC chairman to frustrate the use of BVAS machine and the cleaning up of the voter register. Countrymen, our intelligence is that following the publication of the voters register by the Electoral Commission on its website, note it is the entire register from 2011 till date, the initiators of the Omuma Magic, who many thought had ceased action in their plot to remove the INEC chairman, set out again on the same ill-fated mission. This time, they claim that the INEC chairman is working hard to see that the ruling party is voted out of office next year. They insist that INEC went beyond its bound to publish the entire voter register, which has made it possible for citizens to make observations and objections on the register, particularly in states controlled by the ruling APC. On this basis, they claim the INEC chairman is working for the opposition. What a shame. It is for this purpose that the Nigerian opposition and indeed all Nigerian citizens of goodwill have resolved that we shall resist and reject any form of arrest of the INEC chairman when he returns to the country. We shall also vehemently resist and reject every form of resignation from the office by the INEC chairman, either forced or otherwise, or any other form or method of removal from office, as the Omuma Magic initiators now speak more boldly and assuredly than before. We therefore call on any federal high court judge before whom any form of application seeking the removal of the INEC chairman from office is pending before to remit such files back to the chief judge of the federal high court and not grant such order. We call on President Muhammad Buhari to look beyond his verbal commitment made at the United Nations General Assembly for leaving behind Nigerians with credible election, because his party men are working around the clock to sabotage that commitment. Mr. President should let his people know that he will not tolerate any attempt at destabilizing the electoral process. Operation Wire. Further intelligence have intercepted the ruling party's desperation to emerge victorious by all means necessary includes digital vote buying, which is codenamed Operation Wire. This operation, the APC designed immediately after the announcement by the CBN on redesigning the Naira. This plot has now received approval at the highest level of the ruling party and its campaign organizations. Also designed in Imo State and exported to 21 other states of the Federation. They require the party harvesting names, account numbers, and voters' identification numbers, bank verification numbers of citizens, and arranged in tables for each polling unit on the understanding that money will be sent to each person by electoral means to purchase their votes. Let me show you some of the things that have been done. You can see here, this is from our Mama 1, polling unit 004 in Oru East, Oru West Axis. These are the phone numbers of the people, their PVC number, their bank account number, their BVN. This is the local government of Governor Hope Uzodinma. Now they have harvested it and put it on a table with which money will be transferred in what we call Operation Wire digital vote buying. Also, these are the forms that are given. This is the one that are given in Abia. They call it APC Empowerment Form. This is the one that are given in Ekiti State. They call it Ekiti Development Front Form, with which they are harvesting the account numbers and the PVC and BVN of people. This is the one for Cross River. They call it Forum of Tinubu Support Group in Cross River. This is the one also that are using in Southeast, especially in Ebonyi State. This is the one that are being used in Ebonyi State. They call it Support Group Coordination Southeast Ebonyi and parts of Enugu, with which they are harvesting account numbers and BVN and PVC of innocent rural dwellers. This is the one they're also using in Katsina, Citizen Grassroots Farmers Association, with which they are harvesting the BVN, the account number. And this is the one they are using in Imo State and some part of North Central. They call it APC Vote Canvassing Form, to collect the PVC, the BVN, and the voter card of the voters. This is also the one they are using in Lagos and North Central. They call it Women for Tinubu in collecting these data. And this is some of the account numbers already harvested. In Imo State and Ebonyi State, this plot is executed under the name of APC Canvassing Form. In Ebonyi State, it is called Support Group Coordination Southeast, while in other parts of Southeast, like in Abia, it is called APC Empowerment Form. In Enugu and Anambra, it is executed as the All Progressive Congress Empowerment Form. In Katsina State and other parts of Northwest, the plot is executed under the Citizen Grassroots Farmers Association. In Ekiti State, they are operating under the Ekiti Development Front, EDF. In the North Central, Operation Wire is executed under the North Central Women for Tinubu. In Cross River State, the details are harvested under the Forum of Tinubu Support Groups. In the rest of the country, the APC is harvesting details using the vote canvassing form, which is also being used in Imo State. Our intelligence is that so far, as of November 20, 2022, over 10 million account details have been successfully harvested, and voters' card details have been for vote buying, and like I showed. Let us again start with Governor Hope Uzodinma's local government area, Oru East and Oru West Axis, especially our Mama, where the following account numbers, voter details, and other personal details have been harvested into the payment schedule and waiting for payment instruction. Names like Eugene Ikeanga with Access Bank account number that ends in 3620. I won't mention the full account number because of privacy issue. This is it here. Now, BVN that ends in 5357, a phone number that ends in 4121, and VIN number that ends in 8570. Elua Matoni Ifani with Sales Bank account number that ends in 8928, BVN that ends in 8702, a phone number that ends in 5144, and VIN number that ends in 9260. That is how they have tabled these details in the unending list for 22 states of the Federation for use during the election under Operation Wire digital vote buying. Nigerians will be hot if this election can be sold and bought like crayfish in the ordinary market. We call on the staff of banks to give us information anytime they see such questionable transaction of vote buying in their banks. We also call on the EFCC to be on the lookout for such. Any political party which desires to send money to agents should be compelled to send the bank an acknowledged copy of the official list of agents submitted to INEC. This will help forestall any unreasonable claims that they are paying agents. It must also be noted that there is only one agent per polling unit for a political party. Hence, any claim that the data being harvested is that of party agents is dead on arrival. Again, we call on the police, the DSS, and the EFCC to immediately swing into action and arrest the harvesters of these bank accounts and voters' cards. If security agencies claim that they do not know who harvested them, we now tell them to apprehend the person whose identity are contained in these documents, and from there get the identities of who and to who they surrender their personal details to. Omuma Magic Plus. Gentlemen, recall that immediately following our Omuma Magic exposed, several Hallelujah boys of the government in Imo went overboard, addressing multiple press conferences. While many of those persons were modest in their denials and lies against the facts we presented, one particular wannabe political leader resorted to calling us names in the most crude manner and called for the arrest of opposition leaders here, including my humble self, and insisting that security men must unravel the source of our intelligence. We wondered why a supposed deputy speaker of a state house of assembly will not be troubled by facts contained in Omuma Magic. Compatriots, we intercepted credible intelligence of his alleged involvement in the Omuma Magic. Today, we present to you Omuma Magic Plus. Facts behind the attack on the opposition by one Amara Iwanyanwu. We find it difficult to refer to him as honorable, the deputy speaker of Imo House of Assembly, and a very prominent political hallelujah boy to the governor of Imo State. In Mr. Iwanyanwu Amuzi Hall polling unit in Dim Nanume ward of Wangele local government area of Imo State contained the worst compromise of our register. We have taken a look at the voter register for his polling unit and can see Kano and names from Cotonou. We now present to Nigerians a few names contained in the Amuzi Hall polling unit of the deputy speaker. The name of Adeyinju Victor, born in 1997, appears 6 different times with 6 different faces of both male and female. Another name, Edith, born in the year 2000, appears 10 times with different faces in both male and female gender. Nigerians now listen to the names in this polling unit. This is Wangele, Amuzi Hall, Dim Nanume. Now a new polling unit surprisingly have 1,200 registered voters. Names like Abubakar Abdul Rashid, Abubakar Hawa, Abubakar Mohammed, Abubakar Isaka, Abubakar Lovet, Abubakar Haruna, Abubakar Ibrahim, Abubakar Mohammed, Abubakar Dumi, Abubakar Tenaga. Now they moved over to Southwest. Okay, before Southwest, Adamu Salamatu, Adamu Unisa, Adamu Zainab, Adamu Adebenjo. Now they moved over to Southwest. And then where you have names like Adeyinju. Now you have Adeyinju Victor O, a grandmother's picture. Adeyinju Victor O, the same Adeyinju Victor O, different picture, another person. Adeyinju Victor O, Adeyinju Zvraya, Adeyinju Innocent, Adeyinju Victor O, repeated again. Adeyinju Victor O, repeated again as a grandmother. Adeyinju Victor again, repeated again. Adeyinju Victor. This is what has happened in Wangele, an Igbo dominant local government. Only 50 Igbo names is in their register. The rest, the 1,000, is Hausa and Yoruba. All the new polling units in Wangele have new registration ranging from 90 to 150. But this particular new polling unit, Dim Nanume, has a shocking 1,225 registration and 1,100 are fake. Our investigation has it that in the booth, only 72 names out of the 1,225 are Igbos. Other names registered are Hausa and Yoruba. And permit me to mention the Omuma Magic Plus on list in Wangele in the ward of the Imo Deputy Speaker, who is Hope Uzodimma's boy, which we have done. This spans also to Nnanano ward, which is in Nkwere, where one Chinas and one Eri and the chief of staff to the governor of Imo Nnamdi comes from. You have also Ward 2 in Nkwere, where the housing commissioner comes from. And other wards of leaders of APC in Boronu, in Yobe, in Kano. This mess is everywhere. So while we commend INEC for being courageous enough for publishing this register online, which has made Nigerians to see this shocking, disturbing development, we are expecting security agencies, we are calling on security agencies, especially the police and the DSS, to arrest the staff who carried out registration in the home LUGA and ward and the polling unit of that Mr. Amara, and ensure the staff and the collaborators are arrested and prosecuted. Like we said before, we also need action taken on the underage multiple registration and duplication that affected registration in most parts of the northern states. Operation Afternoon Raid. Fellow citizens, there is yet more troubling intelligence of threat to free and fair election come 2023. In yet another ignorable idea test run also in Imo State immediately after the signing into the law of the 2022 Electoral Act. It's another plot codenamed Operation Afternoon Raid. Nigerians know that the voting rules allow any person in the polling center by 2 p.m. to vote. Hence, in this plot, the ruling party thought will storm various polling centers and cut away electoral materials and officers about 2 p.m. on election day. With this, they can allocate all the votes in line with the number already accredited inside the beavers machine to their candidate and upload same, thereby scoring unmerited votes. Security agencies are yet to question any person for the massive rigging of election in Ngokpala constituency in Imo State, where this afternoon raid was carried out. What they do, and that is why Nigerians must listen to me now, they waited for accreditation to get up to 11-12. Because if they have attacked by 9-10 a.m. because of the beavers, there's nobody that have been accredited. And if the attack led around 4 or 5 p.m., result is already transmitted. They waited around 11:30 to 1 p.m. and then snatched the beavers machine and took some of the INEC staff and then took the number that is already accredited and then forced them to write a result which they uploaded to the INEC server, thereby making it look like it's a legitimate election. That is why vigilance around this hour is very important. This is part of the consideration that the ruling party has resolved to deploy in Southwest region, in Southeast, where they intend to use this method and score at least 95% of the vote cast in these regions. Gentlemen, there is an aspect of the plot that we are working on but have slowed down on since the Mama Magic was exposed. Those who did not get the complete intel on that. However, we were made to understand that they were working on the belief that with some tampering with the technology, they will have accreditation number preloaded for them in various centers. Nigerians should be assured that we have our eyes where the APC cannot see them, and we are watching closely. This is despite the fact that we accept INEC explanation that the technology is tamper-proof, and we appreciate INEC for that. But we are dealing with political buccaneers, so we will remain vigilant. Nigerians still demand from security agencies a full explanation of how, and this thing I want to say is very important. I want every Nigerian to listen to it. If somebody can upload fake names, multiple registration in Boronu, in Yobe, in Amuz, the deputy speaker, Amarachi's ward, in Omuma and so on and so forth, the question you ask yourself, knowing that the election is by fingerprint accreditation, how is that person planning to accredit the voters? And that is why the security agencies, it is their duty to find those who did the fake registration and then investigate to find out whether they have found a way to undermine the technology so that we don't run into problem on election day. Nigerians still demand from the security agencies a full explanation of how the people who uploaded the fake registration intended to accredit them during the election. This is why the silence of the security agencies is very worrisome. Nigerians are praying we do not go to election and magical figures begin to emerge from space. The security agencies owe Nigerians a solemn duty to also protect the offices and other facilities of INEC so as not to negatively affect the smooth conduct of the election. And it's on this part we also appreciate the Inspector General of Police and the DSS for the interaction they had with all the political parties where they assured that INEC infrastructure going forward will be effectively protected. Clamp down and trump up charges. The opposition also condemned the use of magistrate court by security agents working in cahoots with the state governors to detain opposition leaders on trump up charges and sometimes granting impossible bail conditions. In Kaduna, in Ebonyi State, in Kogi, and Imo State, These provocative actions are rampant. Opposition candidates in these states are not allowed to campaign. Our Labour Party senatorial candidate, who from Ebonyi, and the PDP governorship candidate, Dr. Ifeanyi Chukwuma Odi Anyi Chuks, and their supporters are hunted left and right on daily basis. Same with most opposition leaders sitting right here, including my humble self, Ojinika, Ame, and other people who are here. They have planned to adopt and use trump-up charges to silence us. Following our last meeting with the Inspector General of Police, we believe that the issues such as attack on rally venues and party campaign must be put to a stop, and that the private security guards and operatives being run by these governors restrict their work to crimes and not be deployed to attack political opponents of the governors. Equal access to public assets must be granted to all political actors without favoring any group. Security agencies must ensure that this is followed. These security challenges must be brought under control immediately. Countrymen, no to the plan to frustrate and shift the deadline for currency exchange. Countrymen, the ruling APC cannot stop rigging. They seem not to understand what it means for an election to be free and fair. Their survival depends only on rigging. Otherwise, how can the APC party contemplating frustrating the Naira design policy of the central bank, even after the president has given his firm support to the policy? The APC, taking advantage of his control of the House of Representatives, has drafted an amendment for reintroduction into the House of Rep. Let me see that amendment, the amendments they draft, the law. This is it, the currency change procedure bill, amendment 7. Then being sponsored by Femi Gbajabiamila, Mohammed Tahir Mongunu, Professor Julius Ihombere, Bamidele Salam, Honorable Benjamin Okezie Carlo, Honorable Oluwole Oke, Honorable Amos Gamawa Mageji. Why is not saying Nigerians are rushing to deposit their money back? They are trying to make a law that will shift the time to deposit money to 6 months after the general election. Now, the APC is taking advantage of its control of the House of Representatives and has drafted an amendment for introduction seeking the urgent amendment of 2 laws, the Central Bank Act and the Decimal Currency Act in a Currency Change Procedure Bill 2022. These 2 laws provide in Section 4.3 of the Decimal Currency Act and Section 23 of the CBN Act for a notice of 3 months by the CBN for the redesigning of the Naira or withdrawing any coins or notes from circulation. This informs why, by that calculation, the current note in circulation will cease to be legal tender on January 31st, 2023. But to aid the APC rigging machinery, we have been informed of the draft bill by Speaker Gbajabiamila and 6 other APC members of the House of Rep, which I have just mentioned their name, who want to quickly pass the law to allow for this notice for exchange of the old Naira to be extended to 6 months after the 2023 general election, meaning that those with huge sums in their warehouses can easily use those cash to buy votes. This draft amendment will automatically allow the current Naira note to be legal tender till April 2023, after both the presidential election in February 2023 and the governorship election in March has concluded. How can they make a law in retrospect? The CBN has already given the required lawful notice in compliance with the extant laws, that is, the Decimal Currency Act and the CBN Act. Here, the APC House of Rep, led by Femi Gbajabiamila, wants to hurriedly make a law to effect the already issued lawful notice and extend the deadline for deposit of old Naira notes to be after the 2023 general election, thereby messing up the anti-money laundering, economic and political gains of the policy. This is the extreme of legislative rascality, which would make it null and void. We therefore call on constituents of the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, Benjamin Okezie Carlo, Mohammed Tahir Mongunu, Oluwole Oke, Julius Ihombere, Amos Magaji, and Bamidele Salam, who are the alleged sponsors of this bill, to quickly desist from this rigging bill. These members ought to know better. How can they propose an amendment with the sole aim of just moving the deadline for the exchange of the old Naira date to after the election? What are they hiding? None of these members have proposed an emergency bill for victims of recent flooding that ravaged families, or even the hundreds of thousands of victims of insecurity. They have not made any law demanding immediate prosecution of perpetrators of Obama magic or to stop other brutalities happening in the country, which is rampant. But they quickly want to amend the law so that some politicians can possibly have cash in their hands to buy votes. Clearly, the APC can tip the country overboard just because they want to win election. The opposition fully supports the Naira design policy of the CBN to the extent that the January 31st, 2023 deadline date is not shifted, and that the Apex Bank does not find the need to print the kind of cash that was in circulation before that aided currency storage. The Naira should be made to be scarce so that its value can improve, while improvement to online banking and payment should be encouraged to help keep track of money movement and reduce illicit cash transfer. We call on President Muhammad Buhari to call his party men to withdraw the bill, or where they refuse, he should withhold assent to the bill when it is presented to him. As we speak, there are still more than 60 days before the deadline, and this APC has a FREP member and their masters still have enough time to return their money to the bank as required. Nigerians with genuine money do not need more than 3 months to put them in the bank. The people with looted funds are the APC members who are in power, hence the need to use the illegal money they have for vote buying. It is for this purpose we call on all members of the opposition in the House of Representatives to resist this bill where it is presented, and they should not be found aiding the rigging machinery of the APC. Certain APC chieftains at the highest level of the party have been working overtime to ensure that the January 31st deadline for the redesign of the Naira is shifted, and this tends to show that there is cash the ruling party and their candidate possess that they desperately want to deploy for the election. So while Nigerians are honestly taking their cash to the bank in line with the policy, the APC and its House members, led by the Speaker, Femi Bajamembla, are working hard to thwart the policy. Therefore, we call on the APC leadership to call their members in the House of Representatives to order. We commend the Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele for this policy and at this time, so that as we enter into 2023, all dark monies in all dark warehouses will now have to come out and go into our banking hall. It is a huge blow to money laundering, corruption, and attempt to use those cash to buy votes. Lastly, how do we navigate some of the challenges ahead? In view of all these plots by the APC to rig the election, we hereby declare to Nigerians, on polling day, on election day, go to the polling unit, vote, and remain behind until ballots are counted and the result transmitted. And we repeat, vote and wait behind until the ballots are counted, winner announced, and the result transmitted, and agents collect their own copies before you can leave the polling unit. Nobody should confuse anyone with the excuse of having to go to any other place with the materials before they can transmit the results. Do not let anyone steal your result sheet and transmit stolen results. Let us also, like I said before, thank the heads of the security agencies, especially the DSS and the police, for the recently held closed-door meeting opposition leaders had with them, presided by the Inspector General of Police, where we express our readiness, both the security agencies and the political parties, to work together. We are praying and pleading that all the resolution reached towards providing an enabling environment for the election is duly implemented. The task ahead requires courage. The task ahead requires vigilance. The task ahead requires determination. The task ahead requires teamwork. And we all must, at different levels of mobilization, from the mosques to the churches, to the school, to the markets, to the town union, to the political parties at the ward and polling unit level, all work together with a common agenda to defend our democratic right to freely vote and elect leaders of our choices. We must not fear those who operate in the dark and are scared of a transparent election. We must come out very early, mobilize our people, and escort them to the polling centers, vote, and wait behind in an orderly manner until election results are announced, posted, transmitted, and agents giving their copy before we all follow it to the ward collection centers and LUGA, so that united we can deal a huge blow to voting thieves. Let me end by thanking our alliance partners, both in the civil society group, our courageous informants, and our coalition partners, especially from the Labour Party, the PDP, the Action Alliance, the ADC, the APP, the National Rescue Movement, NRM, and other political parties, and also our brothers in the political association that were formerly political parties who are here, Gosin Okoye, Takaya, all of you, Ezobika, and also Konga, in ensuring that the right thing is done. I appreciate you all people for always standing firm in ensuring that Nigeria gets on the path to get the best. Thank you all, and God bless. Ikeanga Raise, opposition spokesperson. Okay, brief comment before we go. Okay, they will comment. Anybody that wants to comment, go ahead.
Freely go to the polls and then cast their vote for the candidate of their choice. But what we're seeing right now is intimidation of opposition voices across federal constituencies, senatorial, how they call it, zone and state. We must, as a people, whatever we have, the people who are elected, there's one thing we must know. They were elected to take charge of public affairs on behalf of the people. If people apply for public space that has been entrusted to you through vote, because you are elected, this is ahead in trust with you. These are public facilities, and they should be allowed and made available to opposition to also apply it and make use of. The government house is nobody's father's house. It's nobody's responsibility to hold on to it as if all of us are now servants before them. Actually, those elected are supposed to be responsible and are supposed to be beholden to the people. But what we are seeing is that those elected have become lords over their own citizens. They have become so much hard that even their citizens start to fear them. Any government that the people are afraid of is no longer government of the people, but is government of intimidation and government of oppression. And for us, we are speaking in one voice. I will no longer hold you so long, because our spokesman have said a lot of things. And as the secretary of the coalition, I want to say today, Nigeria is free for all. All Nigerian citizens are allowed to participate in a process that will be just, that will be credible, and that will be fair. And we are holding INEC responsible to do what is fair to them, for Nigerians. And any attempt to try to force the INEC chairman out of office, any attempt to try to thwart the currency exchange that is going on, like he has said, Nigerians are willingly going to the banks to exchange their money. Those who now are looking for 6 months, that means they have had storage of our money under their bunker, black market money, to be able to make Nigeria ungovernable. If you look at since when this how they call it, policy came out, our naira is now gaining strength, and we must sustain this policy so that Nigeria will have less black money that is used to thwart our democratic process.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
I would like to join the spokesperson to congratulate all the members of the Independent National Electoral Commission for the openness. There's no way we can have good governance without openness. And we'll also want to join other agencies like the Population Commission to borrow the leaf of the Independent National Electoral Commission, so that in all government operations, openness must be the key word. And it's only through openness that we can get a good governance. Finally, I would like to talk more on the issue of electoral security. The use of the private vigilante. In the southeast, they call them the bubago. They want to use them to intimidate the people. They want to use them to run political opponents out. And I would like to urge the people, especially the security agencies, that we have a date with history. They should remember what has happened to the likes of some security agents who were used to truncate the election in the past. Where are they now? I want to invoke the spirit of patriotism of all our security agencies. Your loyalty is to the Constitution. Your loyalty is to the country. Your loyalty is not to any individual. You saw what happened in America. Trump gave instruction. The officials of government, they disobeyed him because their loyalty was to the Constitution. It was an unlawful. So if anybody, whether the security chiefs, is giving you any unlawful instruction, you will not obey it. It is only lawful instructions that you will obey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, members of the press, for coming around today. And thanks to all our cooperating partners. I am Gosin Okoye, a member of the steering committee of the CUPP and former presidential candidate. Well, what we have had today from the spokesperson of the CUPP is very disturbing indeed. All patriotic Nigerians should rise to the occasion. We must be vigilant. For whenever a government becomes divisive and destructive, it is time to change it. And we also know, like one of the old philosophers said, those that canvass for votes don't matter. Those that vote don't matter. Those that matter are those that count the votes. And that's why today we are stating the issue of INEC. We are alerting Nigerians to the dastardly act plot to destabilize INEC by removing the chairman or having him arrested. Nigerians must stand together and ensure that INEC does its job, which it has chosen to do. But having said that, INEC should also help Nigerians to ensure that whatever they have cleaned out remains cleaned out. That the register they are going to present to Nigerians will be impregnable, will be unable for anybody to adulterate it. This is what we are asking INEC to do. They can enhance the security measures in the beavers, and we as political party, politicians and the opponents of the government in power, we will do our best to always alert Nigerians to the act to bring backwardness to Nigeria, to destabilize the country. We will always let Nigerians know. We thank you once again for listening to this important alert. Thank you very much.
Yeah, gentlemen and ladies, the saying is indeed true that sometimes we find ourselves in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes in the middle of nowhere we find ourselves. Nigeria as a nation is in very serious trouble. If an umpire like INEC could be threatened, that means our future, our hope is equally threatened. The time has indeed come for us as Nigerians to stand up and ensure that we protect our rights, our fundamental right to vote, our right to ensure that our votes count. So come 2023, we all are going to defend our votes. We are going to be on ground. I call on the Nigerian youth to know that this is an opportunity for us as youths to ensure that we have a better future, both for ourselves and for our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Nigerians. From the decks of the Contact and Mobilization Committee of the Coalition of United Political Parties, mine is to come to thank all the coalition members that are here today. It's been a wonderful outing. We believe Nigerians have heard us loud and clear. And moving on is a time for us to surely protect the vote of our supporters. And nothing shall by any means threaten our collective security. From the opposition house, we want to tell you that we are out to always give you that information you need in order to prepare yourself for the upcoming election. Thank you, gentlemen of the press. Thank you, all the opposition members, for coming. It's been a wonderful day. Thank you.
Well done, well done.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen of the press. Thank you, my colleague. And in summary, it's important to remember that the issues we raise here is one, we said we want those people who are involved in the compromise of the voter register arrested and prosecuted, and those who finance that criminal operations, both in Amose, both in Omoma, both in Boronu, both in Yobe, prosecuted. We also saying that we will not accept any forced removal or resignation of the INEC chairman or destabilization of the electoral institution. And we also commended the commission for the first time in Nigerian history publishing the entire voter register and uploading it online, giving Nigerians the power to access this information and make contribution. And we also urging Nigerians to go online and check the polling unit, both that of your friends and your enemy. Go ahead and check it now so you can make those reports to us. We also condemn the trump-up charges being filed against opposition members, whether in PDP, whether in Labour Party, whether in ADC, whether in AA, that this has to stop. And those in detention should be released. We said, okay, we have alerted Nigerians of the harvesting of bank accounts, for which over 10 million bank accounts have been harvested, and put in a spreadsheet to do what we call Operation Wire digital vote buying. That this spans across Imo, where they're using a form called APC canvassing form, in Ebony, where they're using Southeast support groups or coordination groups, is in almost different parts of the country. And we also said we cannot accept a shift in the deadline for the new currency to come into effect and for the old ones to be returned. That bill that are planning to run at the National House of Representatives by the Speaker should be dustbin. If you have money in your warehouse, go return it to the bank. We cannot accept any shifts. I want to thank you all, my brothers and senior colleagues, and thank the gentlemen of the press, and thank also Nigerians and our informants. Keep giving us the information. We will not compromise it. We will always keep using it for the greater good of our democracy. Thank you, thank you, thank you all.
Thank you.
Josie.
Takai. Take care.